Imagine a world where venturing beyond the sight of land was a gamble with death. For centuries, sailors navigated vast oceans, charting latitude with relative ease, but the elusive east-west coordinate, longitude, remained an unsolvable enigma. Ships were routinely lost, dashed against unseen shores, or simply vanished, their crews succumbing to starvation and disease. These weren't mere accidents. They were the consequence of a global navigational blind spot, a 2,000-year-old mystery that claimed countless lives and crippled global trade. The sea, once a highway, had become a graveyard. For kings and merchants, for explorers and everyday sailors, accurately determining longitude was more than just a scientific curiosity. It was a matter of survival, a key to unlocking the wealth and power of the world. Vast fortunes were offered, scientific minds were taxed to their limits, but the answer remained maddeningly out of reach. But what if the solution wasn't to be found in the stars, but within the intricate gears of a clock? This is the untold story of how one man, against all odds, cracked the code of longitude. Over the next 12 sections, we'll delve into the perilous world of maritime exploration, the desperate search for a solution, and the brilliant, persistent mind that finally delivered it. We'll explore the scientific hurdles, the political intrigue, and the personal sacrifices that paved the way for a revolution in navigation. Prepare to set sail on a journey through time, to uncover the extraordinary tale of how a clock solved the 2,000-year-old mystery and changed the world forever. The race for longitude for centuries, the vast oceans were not pathways, but perilous labyrinths. Ships, laden with cargo and dreams, vanished without a trace, swallowed by the unforgiving sea. The culprit? A seemingly simple, yet devastatingly elusive problem: longitude. While sailors could easily determine their latitude, their north-south position, by observing the sun's angle, finding their east-west location proved a monumental challenge. Imagine drifting for weeks, knowing how far north you were, but utterly clueless as to your eastward position. This deadly uncertainty meant ships could unknowingly run aground on hidden shoals, or miss vital ports altogether. A single degree of error could mean the difference between life and death, fortune and ruin. The ocean, a stage for both grand adventures and silent tragedies, demanded a solution. Longitude, unlike latitude, has no natural zero point. While the equator neatly divides the northern and southern hemispheres, the line from which we measure east and west is entirely arbitrary. Over time, various nations adopted their own prime meridians, typically running through their respective capitals or observatories. Paris, Rome, Copenhagen, each vying for navigational dominance. This patchwork of reference points created chaos. Imagine sailors from different countries using different maps, each with a different zero longitude. In 1884, an international conference standardized the prime meridian at Greenwich, England, largely due to Britain's maritime power. This was more than just a line on a map. It was a political statement. But before Greenwich's reign, the lack of a unified standard only exacerbated the deadly uncertainty plaguing the seas. Faced with the perilous realities of navigating without longitude, scientists turned to the heavens. The moon, with its constant motion against the backdrop of fixed stars, offered a potential solution. The lunar distance method involved meticulously measuring the angular distance between the moon and certain bright stars. By comparing these measurements with tables predicting the moon's position at Greenwich Mean Time, sailors could calculate the time difference between their location and Greenwich, and thus their longitude. This method, championed by astronomers like Edmund Halley and Neville Maskelyne, promised a precise and universal solution, if only it could be made practical in the turbulent environment of a ship at sea. The dream of celestial navigation fueled decades of painstaking work. Astronomers, secluded in their observatories, toiled to create accurate lunar tables. Neville Maskelyne, Astronomer Royal, dedicated years to refining the calculations, meticulously charting the moon's erratic course. However, the lunar distance method was far from foolproof. It demanded incredible skill, steady hands, and exceptionally clear skies, a rare combination at sea. Accurate sextants, precise timekeeping, and complex calculations were all crucial. A small error in any of these could throw off the longitude calculation by hundreds of miles. The sea, it seemed, resisted the astronomer's quest, protecting its secrets with fog, storms, and the relentless motion of the waves. The staggering loss of life and ships, due to inaccurate navigation, finally spurred the British government to action. In 1714, Parliament passed the Longitude Act, offering a massive reward, £20,000, equivalent to millions today, to anyone who could devise a practical and accurate method for determining longitude at sea. The act established the Board of Longitude, a panel of experts tasked with judging the proposed solutions. This was not just a scientific challenge. It was a matter of national security, economic prosperity, and maritime dominance. The Longitude Prize ignited a fierce competition, attracting astronomers, mathematicians, and inventors from across the globe, all eager to solve this age-old enigma and claim the fortune. Into this world of astronomical giants stepped an unlikely contender, John Harrison, a self-taught clockmaker from the remote Yorkshire countryside. Unlike the esteemed astronomers, Harrison had no formal education, no connections to the scientific elite. He was a craftsman, a man who understood the intricate workings of gears, springs, and balances. Harrison believed that the key to solving the longitude problem lay not in the stars, but in a precisely engineered timekeeper, a clock that could keep accurate time at sea, regardless of the ship's movements or the harsh marine environment. His audacity was almost insulting to the established scientific community. This was a David and Goliath story unfolding against the backdrop of Britain's maritime ambitions. Undeterred by the skepticism of the scientific establishment, John Harrison poured his heart and soul into building his first marine timekeeper, H1. Completed in 1735, H1 was a remarkable feat of engineering. It featured twin balances connected by a sophisticated system of gears, designed to compensate for the ship's rolling and pitching. The clock's gleaming brass and intricate mechanisms were a testament to Harrison's skill and dedication. While bulky and weighing over 70 pounds, H1 represented a radical departure from traditional pendulum clocks, which were useless at sea. However, convincing the Board of Longitude that a clock could rival the accuracy of astronomical observations proved a formidable challenge. The sea trial of H1 was about to begin. Despite the initial success of H1, Harrison wasn't satisfied. He recognized that further improvements were needed to meet the stringent requirements of the Longitude Act. He embarked on the creation of H2 and H3, progressively refining his designs and incorporating innovative features to minimize the effects of temperature and friction. H2, completed in 1739, incorporated a new balance system. H3, finished in 1759, was even more complex, featuring caged roller bearings and a bimetallic strip for temperature compensation. Yet, the Board of Longitude remained unconvinced, favoring the established lunar distance method. They questioned the reliability of Harrison's machines, demanding more rigorous testing and withholding the full prize. The board was composed primarily of astronomers, who favored astronomical solutions. Harrison's clock challenged their life's work. After decades of tireless work, John Harrison unveiled his masterpiece, H4. No longer a monstrous machine, but a marvel of miniaturization, a timekeeper shrunk down to the size of a large pocket watch. Close up on the intricately engraved face, sunlight glinting off the jewels and polished brass. Its beauty wasn't just aesthetic, it was ingenious. Gone were the balances and heavy springs. Instead, a refined mechanism of levers, gears, and a temperature-compensated balance wheel worked in perfect harmony. For the first time, a mariner could hold accurate time anywhere on Earth. The complexity of H1, H2, and H3 had been distilled into elegant simplicity, capable of maintaining accuracy to within a few seconds over months at sea. This wasn't just a clock. It was a portable observatory, a precise instrument that could unlock the secrets of longitude. Harrison had finally delivered on his promise. The era of uncertain navigation was about to meet its end. In 1761, H4 was put to the test aboard the HMS Deptford on a voyage to Jamaica. Visual depiction of the HMS Deptford sailing across the turbulent Atlantic. William Harrison, John's son, accompanied the chronometer. After months at sea, the results were astonishing. H4 lost just 5 seconds on the journey. Animation of a ship sailing across the ocean with a red line, showing the true position, and a slightly off-course line, showing the estimated position without accurate longitude. This far exceeded the requirements for the Longitude prize. But the Board of Longitude, ever skeptical, found ways to delay. Neville Maskelyne, now Astronomer Royal and a staunch proponent of the lunar distance method, led the charge. They demanded further trials, suspicious of H4's seemingly miraculous performance. Was it luck? Was it cheating? The board seemed unwilling to accept that a humble clockmaker had solved the problem that had eluded the world's greatest minds. The sea trials of H4 became a battleground, a clash between innovation and entrenched authority. Years passed, and Harrison remained locked in a bitter struggle with the board. Despite H4's proven accuracy, they refused to award him the full prize. Frustrated and nearing the end of his life, Harrison sought an audience with King George III. Visual, a grand portrait of King George III. The king, a man of science and a keen observer of technological progress, listened intently to Harrison's plight. He understood the immense value of Harrison's invention, not just for Britain, but for the world. Impressed by the clockmaker's perseverance and the undeniable evidence of H4's effectiveness, King George intervened. He personally tested H4 and, convinced of its accuracy, used his influence to ensure Harrison received a substantial portion of the prize money. Finally, after decades of relentless dedication, John Harrison received the recognition he deserved. His victory was not just personal. It was a triumph for ingenuity and the power of persistence in the face of institutional resistance. John Harrison's chronometer revolutionized navigation. Visual, a montage of historical ships using Harrison's chronometers. Suddenly, accurate longitude was within reach of every ship captain, making voyages safer and more efficient. Shipwrecks, previously commonplace due to navigational errors, plummeted. Trade routes expanded, global economies flourished, and the world shrank. H4 became the prototype for countless chronometers that followed, mass-produced and adopted by navies and merchant vessels around the globe. From the exploration of uncharted territories to the safe passage of countless lives, Harrison's invention left an indelible mark on history. The quest for longitude, a challenge that had consumed humanity for millennia, was finally solved by a clockmaker who dared to defy convention and pursue his vision with unwavering dedication. His legacy lives on in every ship that sails safely across the oceans, a testament to the power of innovation and the enduring impact of a clock that changed the world. John Harrison's journey was a testament to human ingenuity and unwavering determination. He faced ridicule, skepticism, and institutional resistance at every turn. Yet, driven by an unshakable belief in his invention, he persevered. His marine chronometers, dismissed as mere clockwork by some, proved to be the key that unlocked the secrets of longitude, revolutionizing navigation and transforming the world. Before Harrison, maritime travel was a game of chance. After him, it became a science. The impact of his invention extended far beyond the decks of sailing ships. Accurate timekeeping, made possible by Harrison's work, laid the foundation for modern communication, transportation, and the interconnected world we know today. Harrison's story is more than just a tale of scientific triumph. It's a reminder of the power of independent thought and the importance of perseverance in the face of adversity. It demonstrates that groundbreaking achievements often come from those who dare to challenge conventional wisdom and pursue their vision with unwavering dedication. He was not a member of the establishment, but he changed it forever. The ocean, once a vast, unknowable expanse, became traversable. That's the legacy of John Harrison, the man who tamed time and conquered the seas. A timeless legacy.